Okay.
The match seems to be starting, so...
Yep. Yep. Match is up.
And so we're back with a new match between Mark and QueenDuccSucc.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So off the start, I mean, if that Dracozolt is scarfed and Mark just gets rid of the Diggersby, it kind of just goes in.
Yeah.
Or if he gets webs up, and if it's banded, that goes in even harder. But he's got to get rid of the Diggersby first, which his team really does not deal with well. His best option is probably Pylo. And then looking at Duck's side, I mean, like I said, it does not deal with Diggersby well. I mean, Arcanine kind of go in once Pex is dead. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Probably going to see like a lead of like Cursula, because it works out pretty well against his other, against Mark's leads, but who am I? It's just me guessing. Okay. So it looks like they're starting Vikavolt lead against the Arcanine lead. Great lead for Duck here. And just straight going off for the overheat. Doesn't get the kill. Yeah, and webs go up. I mean, that's not a big deal for Duck since he has literally the best defogger in the game, and the Vikavolt is dead turn 2, so it can't get webs back up. Yeah. Which is huge. So, I mean, once those webs are gone, they stay gone for the rest of the game. Not good if you're Mark and you're planning on that to win with either a flinched Cincino or like a banded Dracozolt. I mean, I don't know what the Sableye can do here besides like knock off an item. It can't burn this. It doesn't have Toxic, so it's not like it's going to be able to do much to Arcanine besides knock off an item potentially. So we'll see what happens here.
Also, this seems to be a mixed Arcanine.
Yeah, it's mixed. Probably to hit that Vikavolt a little bit harder. Although, no, it's probably hit the Mamoswine a little bit harder because Encore there, trying to Encore it into a Psychic Veins to potentially set it up. But the Corviknight's in right now. Probably just gonna go for a defog here, just to try to get rid of these webs. It's probably gonna take a Will-O-Wisp though. Yeah, the Arcanine was probably mixed to hit something like the Mamoswine harder. Willow coming out, no surprise, and defog. Pretty predictable turn, pretty standard, but really works out well for Duck. Just gonna U-turn out here, probably into something that doesn't need its item anymore, like the Arcanine. Just goes for the knockoff. Arcanine loses its speed. It's not a huge deal, as Duck can manage the hazards really well. Another overheat as into Pex. Doesn't do any damage as expected, it's Toxapex.
Of course.
But Psychic Fangs will probably dent this, and Scald definitely won't kill the Arcanine unless we're looking at, like, a max special attack. Toxapex, and even then I don't think it'll kill.
Yeah, Pex doesn't do that much. Not known for that.
I was about to say, we might be seeing the Specs Toxapex coming in here, but we already saw the Black Sledge. I would love to see the week that Mark brings Specs Toxapex and picks up, like, 4 kills with it. That would be a week to remember. Yeah, they're into the Cursula. Takes the Toxic. Cursula can hit Pex really, really hard. I mean, Cursula itself just hits really, really hard. But it just goes for the rocks, predicting on the switch. Good play. Good for Duck, as Mark has no form of hazard removal, so everything's going to be taking at least be taken about 12% when it switches in. Chip adds up over a while. Houseline just goes for rocks. Crystal expecting to get hit, goes for Strength Sap. Haven't seen an item on the Crystal either, so could be something like Keyberry to live a defensive hit, and then KO back with something like Shadow Ball, but hey, we don't know. Back on the Arcanine, this is where those heavy-duty boots being knocked off becomes an issue, taking 25% on switching. It's not exactly beneficial, but I don't know. I guess it was the least valuable item on the team. Okay. Just goes for another knockoff. As the Arcanine just goes for Morning Sun, healing itself back up. That's good, so it can switch in pretty much, not infinitely, but it can switch in quite a few more times with Morning Sun. It's nice and useful. Into the Pex again, once again. Pex gets burned, nullifying its Black Sludge, which is going to be really useful. Means it won't be able to heal up nearly as much. Just passively. Yeah, so we have, I mean, maybe we'll see Psychic Fang from Arcanine this time. Probably going to end up getting Toxic if it does, but hey. It's risk reward. He could always go into his, oh, that does literally nothing, as Pex just goes for a cover. I mean, I don't know why we're not going into the, why he's not going into the, DuccSuc's not going into the Galarian Rapidash. I mean, it's immune to the Toxic, more than likely, because you're going to run Pastel Veil. It can hit the Pex. The Pex more than likely doesn't have a poison move. Yeah, here, now it's in. This is not surprising. Into the Pylo, as it just, Rapidash just goes for sub. That's not a good situation, because we're now looking at a sub-Sword Stance set, more than likely, and with Psychic and Fairy coverage, it kinda just blows back his entire, Mark's entire team.
Yeah.
So
Rapidash is pretty fast too.
Yeah, it's fast. It will not speed the Cinccino, which will be one problem. Alright, the Cinccino, and it'll be running, Cinccino will have the multi-hit moves to get through the sub, but hey, I mean, if this is like Life Orb with SD, this is going to be a problem for Mark's team. Doesn't do very much to the Pylo. Pylo just goes for the Earthquake. Pylo is very bulky with Eviolite, especially on the physical side. So, not surprising that did so little. Probably gonna see a switch into something like the Corviknight. Yeah, the Corviknight's just gonna come in and get rid of rocks. Unfortunately, that Icicle Crash misses. It's a nice prediction by Mark, but unfortunately, nothing came out of that. Duck just goes for Defog as the the threat is now in. But unfortunately for Mark, he has a full health, DuccSucc has a full health Digger Speed sitting there.
Yeah.
So, can't really lock himself into Bolt Beak, and can't really lock himself into Dragon Claw in case this Corviknight stays in. So, we'll have to see. Cinccino comes out on the Corviknight as the Arcanine just comes in, getting the Intimidate off. That's nice. Means the Cinccino won't be doing very much, nullifying the Choice Band if that's what it was holding, although looking at his team, I think it's probably either Banded or it could have been King's Rock. Which wouldn't have been surprising either. He just goes right back out into the Pex. Something tells me this is going to be a long game, because we're sitting with a Toxapex.
Yeah, a Pex and a lot of recovery everywhere.
A Pex, yeah, with the Roost, where we have Roost, Morning Sun. I mean, recover on the Sableye as well. We might be here a while. At least it's not melodic. At least Pex doesn't get defense boosts when it's burned.
It doesn't really need it, though.
No, I mean, it's got like base 140 or 130 defense. It's like, you don't really need it. It can just be fat on its own. This goes for the Strength Sap. It doesn't even heal it all the way back up. That's kind of sad. Crystal just goes and sets back up rocks. I mean, slowly losing more and more health to the Toxic. Back into the Corviknight here. Corviknight getting chipped down. That really doesn't matter because the thing has... one of its last two moves is 100% going to be a Roost.
Yep.
Disable here, probably to attempt to knock off an item. Get rid of this Corviknight's leftovers, so the burn chip does a little bit more. Yep, that's what we're going to see here, but just back into the Arcanine. Yeah, losing webs super early, I don't think that was... I think that's what's going to come back to kill Mark in this game. This team's just not... It's just not fast enough to deal with stuff like the Boltund, and the Galarian Rapidash. Hey, who knows? If this game gets really, really stally, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, it can still either go on either side. Oh, that's...
So hard into the Diggersby, and that's
big.
That's huge. Still just 36%. Jeez. Knockoff. I mean, Duck cannot... I mean, this thing's probably in Dragon Claw range at this point. That's not very good.
He tried to force something there, and
it did not work out.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, so I think that's probably in Dragon Claw range. And Iron Head is the last move on that Corviknight. Just staying in. I don't think this Corviknight wants to lose its item though. It's probably going to U-turn out this turn. Now that Arcanine being toxic is going to be a pretty huge deal, I think, because that was his main answer to the Sableye, especially. Because otherwise the Sableye can kind of just sit here and burn the rest of his team. Or Duck's team, my bad.
What does Boltund do in this?
Boltund's here to outspeed the Cinccino. So, like a Cinccino can't just sit here and just click, like with a King's Rock can't just get that 41% chance to flinch on any one of the other Mons. So it's here to make sure that it doesn't, that doesn't happen. And leftovers are now gone on the Corviknight, you know, it's not a huge deal. It's just gonna get... Yeah, okay. This is gonna be a while. Okay, back into the Arcanine here. Looks like we're going to have a fairly stally game on our hands. The Sableye just kinda just sits here.
Yeah, can't really damage it.
Yeah, Duck really doesn't have a good way to damage this, this Sableye. Because all of his physical threats can get burned and both of his special threats are toxic. It's not exactly... At least the leftovers are nullified, if that means anything. I guess it'll just get chipped down a little bit faster.
Yeah, it just means it needs to use Recover once in a while.
Yeah, oh boy. I swear, if this is a repeat of my game from week 2, this is going to be a problem.
This is going to be a lot longer. I feel like.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that was 118 turns, and most of that was Melodic versus Sylveon.
Yeah, at least this one is like multiple Pokemon fighting the same things over and over.
It's 2 on each side. It's Arcanine, like, Mark needs to get rocks back out pretty much as soon as possible to prevent Duck from just switching around and constantly resetting the toxic damage on Arcanine. Arcanine only has... Yeah.
Even if he gets the rock back, he can just get back onto the Corviknight and remove them again.
Corviknight, yeah. But eventually... Stealth Rock has less... more power points than Defog. But I don't think it'll go that long.
No.
Because eventually the Corviknight will just kill the Piloswine with Iron Head. Yeah. Yeah, Duck really does not have... With that Diggersby being burned, does not really have the best way of dealing with this Piloswine. Oh, it has Facade. Never mind.
Oh.
That is very bad. Okay, into the Cinccino. Probably going to see a Bullet Seed or a Tail Slot come out here. Right. See if this thing is... Oh, quick attack just for some damage. I don't agree with sacking this Mon. I don't agree with that. Even if it doesn't do very much else this game, it stops Dracozolt from just... Especially if it's Scarfed, coming in and just clicking Bolt Beak over and over and over again.
Yeah, can anything take a Bolt Beak? I mean, it can miss,
I mean,
that's the thing.
Yeah, it can miss, but, I mean... You're banking on a miss to get a Mon in for free that could maybe deal with it, and if it's Scarfed, you know, they're probably going to have to take another one. So, I don't agree with that sack, but hey, I don't know what the sets are. I mean, maybe it's like, I don't know, Ice Fang Boltund or something like that to deal with the Dracozolt. It could be a possibility if it even gets Ice Fang. Yeah. My only thought of why Duck stays in there is Duck predicted Mark to predict that he was gonna that Corviknight was gonna come in and was gonna Rock Blast, so the Diggersby was gonna stay in. But if you're gonna do that, why not just Facade and into the Boltund? It's the only thing that outspeeds this Encino. So if this is a flinch axe set, it won't be as effective. It won't be able to flinch the Boltund down. But I think if this is into the Sableye, oh boy. Thunderfang does 48, but
yeah, now
it's gonna get burned, and then the Sableye just recovers, and then we're back in the same scenario. So into the Arcanine.
Oh, you didn't know.
It just goes for the recover anyways. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't do over 50%, so.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be able to win that war. Yeah, I mean, Arcanine could just it's either gonna Morning Sun or just Overheat here. I mean, into this Encino. Hopefully he went for Overheat to just get rid of this thing. No, he just goes for Morning Sun. So we'll see a Tail Slap or a Rock Blast coming out from this Encino. Maybe it's banded. Maybe it'll kill. Into the Curse-Law, predicting the Tail Slap. Just goes for Rock Blast. It's gonna kill the Curse-Law here.
Yeah, I mean the Rock Blast was just hitting any tank.
It was the it was the safer play overall. Yeah. Although
miss, but
yeah, that's the thing. Mark's already lost a game to a Rock Blast missed. So I mean, it was the right play for sure, but I don't know if that was the. I didn't know what his thought process was there. So now we're probably going to see the Boltund come back in here, because this is banded Rock Blast. I mean, not even Corviknight really, because the Corviknight is only Not even the Corviknight really wants to take banded Rock Blast coming off of this Encino. Boltund's back in. I mean, its best option is just to click Thunderfang or Volt Switch if it has it, I guess. I mean, its last move is probably like Thunderfang, Firefang, Crunch, like Play Rough as its last move, something along those lines. But either way, Thunderfang is probably the best move from the Boltund here.
I mean, if it has Play Rough, could it not just click Play Rough on the Sableye?
It could, right? But I think actually you're right. If it does have Play Rough, it's probably... The thing would be, would Play Rough kill this Encino, though? Probably. Encino isn't exactly a bulky Mon.
And it's pretty,
it's a tap. Yeah, it's a glass cannon. So, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, if it has Play Rough, I mean, I think it clicks it here for sure. It just goes for the Thunderfang gun. I mean, this is a losing battle with the Sableye. Just goes out into the Corviknight here. Sableye just goes for the recover. How many more recovers does a Sableye have? Oh boy, it's got 13 more. Oh boy. Probably gonna see an encore. Into the Corviknight here. Locking it into that Iron Head. Making it much easier to deal with, I don't know, something like Dracozolt. Nope, just Prediction Will-O-Wisp. Corviknight just U-turns out. back into the Arcanine, and once again we are in the exact same scenario. Overheat comes out, doesn't do enough. Sableye just goes for knockoff. And now the Sableye is going to recover again. Oh boy. Very. This is fun. Super fun.
Back to the Corviknight, into the recover,
into the Iron Head or Roost. Honestly, Mark might just recover again here. Alright. If the Sableye U-turns, you're gonna be able to live another Arcanine overheat. Alright. In case that was a low roll. I don't know the roll, but if that was a low roll, you know, might not want to risk it. Living on 71%. Might see another recover. But
even then, recover's priority because of Prankster, so you can just click recover when Arcanine gets in.
Just goes for the knockoff. Yeah. Just gonna recover here. I think that's what what Duck is doing. Just trying to stall out as many of these things recovers as possible. The Arcanine is gonna run out of Morning Suns eventually, though. It only has 3 left. Yeah. Good attempt by Mark there. And now we just see the Roost, and it's going to be a stall war. Man, that full 3% damage on the on that into the Dracozolt. Just Iron Head. I mean, the Dracozolt kind of just gets to click Bolt Beak here for free.
And it does kill the Arcanine.
If this is Scarfed, yeah, it hits both of them. Yeah, the Arcanine's gone. That might, I mean, yeah, the Bolton has to have Play Rough here.
I just wonder if it has Play Rough, why it didn't ever click. I mean, it could not click it when the Sableye was in, but before.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't have clicked it the second time, but I don't know. Because it's Scarfed, it doesn't outspeed for sure. But I think Mark probably just preserves this for later. I mean, you can't really go Pex here because if he Thunderfangs, or Duck Thunderfangs, you know, or it's not exactly in the best spot. And the Play Rough does come out. Doesn't even kill, but it does over half, so at the very least we will be seeing the Sableye die to this Play Rough eventually.
Yeah. It could click like the Will-O-Wisp before it dies.
Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, that might be the best play. And then we could just see the Corviknight come back in, and we're in the same scenario. So, let's see what happens here. Yeah. I also think that if you're Mark, you could probably just spam recover here to chip this thing down with Life Orb enough to the point where you could kill it with Bolt Beak. Because Bolton isn't exactly a Pokemon.
Yeah.
So that could also be something that you could do here, even though he'll die in two more Play Roughs. At the very least, he would get the Bolton down to 51%. So, no, he just goes for the burn.
And the Play Rough
misses. That's unfortunate.
That's GG.
That is the game at this point, yeah. The Sableye can just recover here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, I don't think the Bolton lived the Bolt Beak at this point anyways, but yeah, that sucks. Yeah, alright. Oh boy, that's gonna be a fun putting that into the dock. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun putting that one into the dock later. Well, I mean, hey, I would have rather you sacked all your mons so I could at least put this into the dock easily.
Oh well.
Come on. This just makes more work for me later. Yeah, alright. Well, that was a interesting game. Not play roughness definitely was the end of it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. That was unfortunate.
I think we have more matches coming soon from what 27 said.
Yeah, we might.
So we could go into a replay while we wait, maybe.
Yeah, we can. Hopefully this... Okay, did someone grab the replay at the very least? No, no one grabbed the replay. Okay. Good job, guys. Very cool. Very cool, guys. Okay. Yeah, so we can go into a replay, whichever one you would like.
I didn't watch all of them, so if there's one that you think is worth watching, or...
I mean...